The Imaginative Hobbyist presents Spider-Man, Very Far From Home, written by Max Slocum, based on the motion picture Spider-Man No Way Home, written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. Peter Benjamin Parker was on top of the Empire State Building overlooking New York City. In 2013, he was bit by a genetically modified spider while on a visit to Oscorp that gave him super speed, super strength, and the ability to crawl on walls. He created an alter ego that would allow him to use his abilities to meet their fullest potential and help those in need. In time, he became a media sensation. The press referred to him as the Amazing Spider-Man. And indeed, as Spider-Man, he felt amazing and was doing amazing things. He saved the city from devastation and the lives of so many people. But alas, he could not save everybody. He lost his uncle, Ben Parker. He was not able to save Captain George Stacy of the NYPD, and he failed trying to save the love of his life, Gwen Stacy, the daughter of Captain Stacy. He never would forgive himself for not making it in time. He carried on, though, trying his best to live up to being New York City's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, because that is what Gwen would have wanted. In the years since Gwen's death, there came a point where he found it difficult to hold back because the criminals were upping their game and raising the stakes. For a time, he stopped pulling his punches, and soon he became rageful and bitter, especially towards those who were once friends, but became enemies, like the Green Goblin, Harry Osborn. It got to the point where people started to see him as every bit as polarizing as Jameson had made him out to be in the Daily Bugle. Jameson even went on national television saying that Spider-Man was no different than someone like the Punisher. He received a wake-up call when he stopped a robbery, and one of the crooks was a high school kid who said they used to look up to him. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. Peter tried to re-establish himself as the Spider-Man people remembered from back in the day. It felt right to be a light in dark times again. Unfortunately, he found himself becoming too dedicated to being Spider-Man and less dedicated to being Peter Parker. And because of that, he missed out on getting together with friends and family, struggling to make ends meet. It was a juggling act he had still not quite mastered, but at least he stopped himself from going on a darker path. Crime at the moment seemed pretty under control. There were no robberies being committed, no escapes from the Raft or the Ravencroft Institute, and no murmurs of anything big and wicked being planned around the city. Maybe tonight he would take Aunt May's advice and ask out Mary Jane Watson. He leaped off of the top of the building and fell to the ground. As he shot a web to some architecture nearby, he began to feel odd, and everything started to feel off. Everything went dark for a second. When he could see again, he collided with the wall of a building and fell down onto some trash cans in an alleyway. He got up and discovered that he wasn't the only one present. There were some kids who gathered around with their phones out taking video. "Nice Spider-Man cosplay," said one. "Cosplay?" Peter asked. "Yeah, you're way too tall to be Peter Parker," another said. Peter felt like he was in an episode of The Twilight Zone. How could they know Spider-Man's secret identity, let alone the height of Peter Parker? And his outfit was cosplay. How? The kids, surprised by his lack of knowledge of the news, explained to him that the Daily Bugle released a video that was taken by Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio, that revealed the identity of Spider-Man, high schooler Peter Parker. After telling him all that they had known, they asked if he disappeared when Thanos snapped his fingers with the Infinity Gauntlet. Apparently, some people were said to take a while to come back, but that was just speculation. Peter had no idea what they were talking about, and the kids walked away thinking he was some crazy homeless guy with a pretty good tailor. As the day carried on, he tried to avoid contact with other people so as to not attract any unwanted attention. He went from rooftop to rooftop, warehouse to warehouse, observing this familiar but unusual New York City. Parallel universes. He remembered studying about them back in the day, but he wasn't sure if there was enough concrete evidence to prove the existence of a multiverse. That was until today. Although he had to try to find a way back home, he was nonetheless fascinated. One day had passed, and as it reached the nighttime, there was a storm that came through. He waited the storm out and ventured back to the same alley he crash-landed to. As he began his investigation to see if there might be anything that could explain why he came to this place, sparks started to appear out of nowhere and soon formed a portal. The portal led to a cozy house. He waved at the two teens standing there inside who began to call his name. Maybe they might have the answers he was looking for.